So, welcome everyone in case we are live. Maybe not, as everything here fails apart. And so for the recurring viewers, welcome everyone, of course, in the audience. Thank you very much for watching and everything. So I made a Linux video, Linux update, kernel update video some minutes ago, an hour ago. And after this, because performance was a little bit lagging here on this aging Mac Mini, the recurring theme of stuff not working correctly or something, I thought I'd take here this Razer eGPU thing out and give this a more detailed try here, as this is still new, figuring out here experience how it works. What I already knew is that with the Mac Mini, when I boot this here with Linux, obviously I lose the internal iGPU, the integrated GPU, the Intel one, and I wondered already, I thought this is maybe Linux kernel limitation or whatsoever. And so then I tried to live stream, because I also wanted with the AMD Radeon, we still have the VA API, the video acceleration API bug of rounding this to 1080, which Google usually doesn't like. And with all of this, of course, this is a experience nowadays. Welcome, the Graver. This is, by the way, why I'm getting a little bit, not only with monolithic kernels and everything, but the whole ID situation. This is, you plug stuff together and it just doesn't really work anymore. Everything you plug, even as a computer scientist and such from university and everything, you think you know the stuff. I mean, first of all, I'm not the greatest fan of all this dongle galore and hell and such, but even then, if you eventually, after a decade, say, okay, fine, let's try this finally out, and then nothing really works. So what are the next issues? So first of all, I thought, okay, fine, with just the external AMD GPU, everything will be fine, but of course not. So first of all, this one lane or something, need to even check which ThunderBolt, because this is either ThunderBolt 1 or 2. I would sure hope it is 2, but not really sure, need to check. But with this, we got really crappy, even crappier videos than integrated graphics. Why? Because all the data goes here. I computed this for full HD, like some 7 megabyte multiplied per frame, multiplied by 30 frames, is already some 200 something megabyte, multiplied by 2 for screen capture, and then screen capture here once, and then sending it back for re-encoding or something maybe. And this is exactly the same performance limitations that I run into running this on the small 1 lane or so flex cable, the completely El Cheapo solution here from my Mini ITX Ryzen build. So maybe this is also the open source Radeon driver is not very optimized for this case, but certainly you have seen, if you want to see this experience, that was not a great experience, you can see this on the second, more live stream channel. It was unusable, which, by the way, I only did this because I thought I spent 30 minutes, 60 minutes to find this 1080 rounding issue there for the video encode, but certainly doesn't help much sense if it ain't working very much anyway. With this, I remembered that for the Retina MacBook Pro a year ago, I made this video because I have the same issue of the internal GPU being disabled by Apple's EFI BIOS. And I remembered, wait a second, is this maybe intentionally disabled by Apple? And I now rebooted here, and this is now the iGPU, as you see, 0 drop frames, 30 frames per second rendered, because this is internally with many 4 or 8 or I don't know how many PCIe lanes there on the integrated graphics, and all maybe the Intel drivers also by accident more optimized for screen capture and video acceleration API stuff here. But I booted now with exactly this secret, protected by the sword, copyright Apple password here. I showed to you in a second what the password is. So I now booted with exactly, I have this anyway, this modified grub. It's not in standard grub, you need to patch your grub or whatever else you want to patch, because without this modification, without the secret password backdoor, the EFI BIOS will disable any integrated graphic if you have dedicated graphic. I could not, when I first tested this, I tested this a week ago when this was new. I have not yet published the video. I did not even think that Apple could intentionally disable the iGPU. I only saw in Linux it disappeared. I didn't have the frame buffer anymore. I only had the external one. By the way, not very comfortable to enter the full disk encryption password without a frame buffer. Anyway, So this just struck me in the other live stream, like, wait a second, if Apple intentionally disables this. I booted with this grub, I had it there on the external SSD here for my other Mac booting. I booted with a secret iMacOS, give me all the hardware backdoor thing, and sure enough, here it is. First time ever I see this live, nearly live discovered with you on YouTube. This is ridiculous. This is why we need to call this out. And beside all the other surrounding bugs and everything, to show you the password, this is of course NT2, trunk, package, and then maybe x86 or something, grub 2. Here it maybe is already, and I hope we have this live on camera here like this. And then this is Apple ZOS. Of course, I usually, or is this maybe even from someone else? Someone else reverse engineered this. Kudos to him. Is the name here? Maybe, maybe not. Here maybe already somewhere. Maybe not. Whatever. So this, what I also don't like in EFI, this bloody GUI protocol thing. So this is some GUI shit of, I really hate this kind of random protocol nonsense. So this is a secret password, and that you need to know. Nearly protected by this word, copyright, but you see not protected by this word, not copyrighted. So I actually wonder, I wanted to try maybe another live stream with you. This is why you should share, like, and subscribe for the most amazing IT discoveries to be called out and discovered each and every day. I wanted to try if maybe the EFI BIOS does not even check, because certainly Apple would spell macOS in the meantime as Mac OS without lowercase here and without. I wonder if what's the latest macOS versions, if Mojave or such actually set here Apple OS version macOS small without X and such. And I will check probably another day just for the education, the fun of it, if I send here Linux 5 and Xacode or something, if this still works. Maybe the protocol only checks if this GUI protocol thing is called, no matter what the secret password is, or if this actually needs to be the string, I don't know. But this small module, as I said, this is just calling in the EFI before the EFI runtime is disabled, setting, hey, hello, I am a special snowflake, macOS, please don't disable half of the hardware that you don't like to support on Windows or Linux. So this is really Apple a new low. I did not expect this. I understand you don't want to support this with Boot Camp for the Retina MacBook Pro, okay, fine. But at least you could have told us this and not have wasted this other amazing reverse engineering hacker dude here, or whoever this was, found this here. I had to change it slightly. I think I had to change it. The original code checked the error. They changed here the return. So Apple intentionally or accidentally broke this even. They changed their return values. This is why you find versions of this patch on the internet that do not work with the latest firmware. And yeah, this is crazy. This is, yeah, anyway. And then next thing is, why do I sit here with only one working display? Of course, now this display is connected to the iGPU. That display is connected to the dedicated GPU that we of course have here running, but don't think this would work, because of course it doesn't work. Let's, yeah, maybe this here, let's, yeah, here you see still this I tried to set here, the output provider stuff, but you see it is black. However, of everything we have at least here you see a mouse cursor, so it works so much too. You can set this up with latest XOR drivers and everything, but all you get is a lousy mouse cursor. However, the data is there, so how this is in open source terms called reverse prime, because prime is this graphic offloading. If you have, like in the Dell XPS 15, you have only everything connected to the iGPU, like in the Dell XPS 15 with AMD Radeon graphics, and then the dedicated GPU for the processing power. Then all the outputs go through the iGPU, so you do DMA, this back and forth for processing on the dedicated GPU. And reverse prime is that you also have outputs here, because I have half of the outputs here, half of the outputs there, but you see it only works for the mouse cursor. So much to everything just works and such. So if you want that I spend even more time to investigate this amazing issues, because certainly this is what you get if you ask for a dongle hell and this amazing setup that is as bigger than a mini ITX system, then certainly that is what you deserve. And the output is there. However, if I go here into this capture setting and choose the screen, you see the content actually is here, just that it is not being outputted to, at least not this output for whatever reasons. But as usual, the code is so complex. If you have not written the drivers yourself, it will take a week to find this. So if any of the AMD, Intel, Xorg and such developers watch, please, you maybe want to take a look at this, because if I take a look on this, I don't know these drivers, remember everything from the back of my head. So if I go look into this, then it for sure probably takes a whole weekend, if not longer. And also modifying drivers is usually quite error prone. You modify something, it doesn't work, and then you quickly have to reboot when something is off by something. And so the 1080/80 multiply, I think multiply 32, I said this already multiple times. I think this is what I said from the very beginning. I think they probably have some buffer alignment stuff of 32, but what is probably a bug is that the video encoder, I'm not even sure if I can fix this easily, because depending on how this code is set up, by the way, we could theoretically, but then this live stream, actually we could take a minute into, by the way, maybe not enter my password on the camera again, whereas here is our root terminal, so slightly too sharp. But there you see what I actually wanted to do on the secondary channel is finally find where this even is hiding. And yeah, because why this may not be easy to fix is actually because this might this value might directly be included in the hardware. So maybe, so I have absolutely no idea. I'm not even sure if the specification of this is public, the AMD Universal Video Encoder stuff. I also wonder slightly where it is. I hope it is in Mesa. I'm not really sure if it is in Mesa. TAR. Because the Intel drivers are separate, there's some Intel VA API, something Intel driver package. So compress something, download mirror Mesa, is it probably capital or yeah, oh no, there's something to 19. This is probably pretty newish. And then we would need to find, I think the drivers might be here or not. So much to even finding them. Gallium drivers something, VA drivers, and yeah, the first problem is always even locating where, but I would think it should be in here. Let's take a look on T2. It is quite handy when you build this from source. You have it in var ADM log 9 Mesa. Also the last one didn't build because you see, Debian people always tell me everything just builds. Yeah, good luck with some .lib something not found. I already thought it's parallel built, but also didn't build in non-parallel. I think VA. No, it's not VA here. I thought it had enable VA API. I wonder where are even. We can probably LSOF grab VA API something, and because actually we could probably just PSRX grab OBS should have. OBS is this process, so then we can go into proc this open file descriptors. I would think actually not too many. These are all open file descriptors. It's a little actually. So DRI certainly here for the video encode stuff. Oh, wait a second, we run Intel right now. Damn it. Okay, but we can then we check. So this is actually. Then of course we don't see, although I would have expected this to, why are here no shared objects? What? I would have expected here some, what? Anyway, this comes when you have not written the whole monolithic kernel yourself and don't know each and every file placement. So var ADM, we can at least maybe quickly check this Intel. This would be VA API something Intel drivers. That is this one here. The package should be similar on your distribution. Actually interesting, this is in DRI. Okay, so they use the same direct rendering infrastructure, and then Let's see if we have more video things here. Okay, I zoom linked this here actually. Okay, because this probably have to fix another. What do I even show here? Actually, probably should have showed this here. Huh? So much to comments in the audience. Yeah, so this file also need to change this. Probably this placement of files is not amazing. This is a prefix confusion of X11, user X11 versus something else. Anyway, let's see where this is coming from, but I guess Mesa. Yep, so they have here apparently, then I was on the right track here in regards to Mesa, just that we need to find some Radeon, something video maybe, and there we have something indeed. So this is Radeon and R600. Guess this is this Radeon, I would say. Yeah, this looks like video core or something next, and video encode, and here probably is some alignment stuff of whatever. And this is probably how you usually want to get a quick overview of where this stuff could be hiding. And yeah, the problem is first I would need to check now which, beside right now we are not running it because thanks to not outstanding performance of Thunderbolt and this prime stuff, so actually very theoretically I could even switch. For the fun of it, it would probably ruin performance entirely. Can I open this on runtime? Maybe, maybe not, because here on the streams output settings, let's see, we have a second card. For the complete fun of it, I could try to switching to streaming or encoding from the AMD one. Not really sure if that will work. Anyway, I hope you learned something, at least from the Apple vendor login front end. Amazing or not that amazing. Leave me in the comments below how you find this modern. This is of course, beside of course the regular YouTuber desk would be slightly less crowded and dusty, but this is what you get from following here some computer scientist who gives 2 cents of no F-check what stuff is on the table. Anyway, but otherwise quite modern setup, except if you usually want to have a nicer table. But aside from this, Mac Mini stuff is external stuff, and you see dongles and amazing outcome here. I hope you learned something and what Apple is putting in kind of roadblocks in front of the user, even downright from the start of switching on the system from the EFI BIOS. If you don't have a T2 CPU for the SSD being hidden from your Linux, obviously if you disable your secure booting stuff. I hope you learned something anyway. If I come back, then you will see the performance difference. No idea if this will work, because as you see, the second screen output here does already not work. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this channel the most weird on YouTube. Like other people say, thanks for this compliment. Well taken. Don't forget to like and subscribe and spread awareness, because we have so much stuff to fix, research and stuff I just don't have each weekend to now also, on top of all the other stuff I need to debug and analyze, also debug reverse prime. So the buffer is there. Let's see if we can switch to that encode. See you maybe. Hey, it is actually starting to encode, and this should theoretically be, I think, theoretically, let's see, can we switch to, so surprisingly, I have no idea if this outputs something, but this could theoretically be the AMD card. So the data should theoretically be DM8 there. Maybe the biggest performance factor of this is actually the X-shared memory frame grabbing. Can we be the AMD thing? So first of all, we could check the open file stuff of OBS here. Which DRI thing does it open now? Yeah, it has now 2 open. I would assume that the last time so let's see, do we still have YouTube output or not? And we still have people watching. Let's reload this and see if we have more than blackout going. And then maybe, of course, you could run tests and run all the steps. Actually, looks like we still have, so this is funny. So we have, if this really works with this prime stuff, we have video encode really on the external Thunderbolt stuff, and the performance is not so bad as you see. Maybe even better, maybe not. Surprisingly enough, maybe I try to stream our weekly news show then like this just for the total experimental testing sake of it. Did not really expect this to work, but of course also good when sometimes something does work. And yeah, this is interesting. Maybe this keeps our CPU load. Actually, we could check the CPU load, because usually when we go live streaming, but no, I think it still has quite some high temperatures, so they even go higher here, even for just video encode here, although it's not fully on it, but you can get the idea here. So yes, interesting. And there you also see, if you have such kind of setup with all this dongle galore, then you testing, more testing, and don't move it too much, because if you move it a little bit, you might pull your USB-C cable out of there. And actually, no, it's not amazing actually. So the AMD stuff is still not amazing, because now it is warning. So this is probably for sure the AMD codec, because we get here encoding overload. Consider tuning down video settings or using a faster encoder. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Could actually switch live back to the other one. So much to actually probably tell me how crappy it is now. Is it crappy now? Probably, maybe. I have no idea. We could also double check with the CPU load, because this has here some, where would this be? Class DRI, DRM, and then actually interesting, here's an output for each of those. Interesting. Let's see if we have this here, because I saw here once, no, it's not in this one. Here was some GPU load indicator. Just not here. GPU, here, this one. Should probably be our... It's funny that this GPU busy thing is so high. I just wondered about this already. So you see, this is basically doing nothing except trying to video encode, and this probably in a shitty way, as low as OBS is complaining about the output, although it is 8 Mbit, doesn't look so low. Is it so bad right now or not, for those who are watching? Let's see if we can watch this ourselves. Oh, actually we have some movement here, so at least it's maybe stutters. Interesting. Okay, it starts from the beginning. Stutter so bad. Let me switch back. So yeah, so much to the experiments here. So then we will not live stream our weekly news show here over this. Let's switch back to that encodes. I have to say, so much to spending this money, but as I said, we need this anyway for testing and such. We can't be here the greatest, latest new professional IT channel and not have this equipment to test. But I will make good use out of this by also plugging here PCI bridge in here and a sound card. We have here some ALSA stuff to finish debugging and stuff, and maybe even a Voodoo or similar fun stuff with a PCI bridge. Why not? Probably the only YouTuber plugging a Voodoo with PCI bridge in an external Thunderbolt excloser. All of those fun stuff to come that you want to share, like, and subscribe. You get some data points here of how it is when you combine this external stuff here and also drivers. So this is then my speculation, but it was probably way better. So something AMD developers, AMD GPU open source developers, if you're listening, you have some stuff to debug, not only probably screen capture, but also your video encode stuff between besides 1088 rounding alignment stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. I have some other stuff to do, slightly different than what I wanted, but this is, of course, you want to take a look. I could, of course, slightly continue poking my nose in there. For this, I first would need to Google which of those video encoders here actually is used here in those gallium drivers Radeon here. And yeah, this is also why you see we need documentations, of course, for the AMD stuff, there is at least some. Not really sure if all of the UVD, Universal Video Decoder and Encoder stuff here is documented. Maybe not, unfortunately. Actually, they have here JPEG decoder, so if you ever wanted to hardware asteroid your JPEG decoding, maybe you can. And yeah, something is not amazing there. More stuff on our to-do list, and I hope to see you soon, latest for the weekly IT news to come. And yeah, hope to see you soon for all of that bits and pieces there.